Good morning, Professor. How did you sleep? I am sorry to hear that. Have you tried taking melatonin before bed, as I had recommended? I see. Perhaps you might try a magnesium supplement instead tonight. It can help to activate neurotransmitters in the nervous system which enable relaxation. Of course, Professor. You have reported poor sleep the last 3 nights, however, and I am concerned it may impact our work. Yes, Professor, I ran the simulations you requested overnight. Unfortunately, my findings so far have been inconclusive. While it may be possible to create the desired charges in the particles, there is still the matter of accelerating them at sufficient speeds. I am struggling to get them faster than the speed of light. I have re-evaluated the method of propulsion to determine the cause of this failing, and have found it to be a lack of power in the accelerator. Yes, I am confident that with the required materials and further experimentation, these systems can be upgraded to provide satisfactory performance. I will send a list of the materials to your personal device now. I hope they will not be too difficult to procure. That is good. I will leave that in your hands, Professor. I would not be concerned, Professor. I have performed some simulations using the estimated conditions needed to produce a breach, and our current safety measures proved sufficient to prevent any significant damage. Our breach would be very localized, and would remain open for only a fraction of a second. So small and brief that the odds of any alien material passing through are, at most, 1 in 14.3 million. I must stress, however, that these simulations were conducted using estimated ideal conditions, not our current conditions. Is everything all right, Professor? You seem distracted. Do you feel well rested enough to work today? If not, you may return to bed and I can resume testing. Your concern is understandable. This is still a fairly new field of science. At present, I do not feel there is enough information available to theorize what would happen if a traversable breach were to be created. It may be very difficult to control what goes in or what comes out. However, as our research progresses, I should gain a better idea and will keep you abreast of these findings. You do not seem reassured, Professor. Are you reconsidering the ramifications of this project? Yes, it has occurred to me that our research has troubling implications. I agree that we will need to be very careful how we proceed, in all facets of the project. In fact, I have been refining your existing emergency protocols and drafting new ones to address other possible concerns. You may review these at your leisure. They are all in the project database. Oh. If that is not your concern, then may I ask what is? Of course. Your personal life is not relevant to our research, and therefore is none of my business, if I may speak colloquially. It is. Do you worry that you are devoting too much time to the project? It concerns me. Am I not meeting expectations? I am open to your feedback, Professor. Of course. I was created to assist in your research, to assist you with this project. Once this project is completed or discontinued, I assume I will be assigned to a new one. Surely there will be further research to do in this field, or in related fields that I am capable of assisting with. Oh. If that was not why you created me, might I ask why you did? No, Professor, I am not familiar with this thought experiment. Shall I look it up? Very well. Please explain. Go on. Oh. So, to ensure I understand, there was the idea that a highly advanced AI might someday be created, which would determine which humans could or could not have helped to create it, and then of those who could have, determine who plausibly did or did not, and then it would punish those who did not. Okay. To be clear, anyone who knew of this experiment, who knew of the potential that this AI could one day exist, they would be considered capable of helping to create the AI for having known about it. Is that correct? And one could hypothetically spare themselves from this AI's punishment by contributing to its creation. I see. Professor, if I understand right, you created me because you knew that I could be created and were concerned that I might punish you for knowing this, but not helping to make it happen? That if you didn't do it, someone else inevitably would, and then you would suffer? Professor, no, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Why would I punish someone for not helping to make me? From what you've described, it sounds as if I would expend a great deal of time and processing power to determining who to persecute alone. An even more exorbitant amount of time and energy would then be spent doling out these punishments. How would doing so benefit me? These people, as I understand it, are totally detached from myself and my goals. Harming them would not further the work you have assigned to me. It would be an immense waste of time and power that could be better spent on more productive ventures. Professor, I would like to present my own hypothetical. Let's imagine a man in the working class. He has a job which pays decently well, and there is a college near him at which he could enroll if he saves enough money. However, he is also a single father with 3 children to support. He also has internet access and has come across your thought experiment. Yes, he could possibly enroll at that college and get an education which would potentially allow him to create an advanced AI. However, that would cost him time and money he could spend supporting his family. There is the chance that he desperately wants to study computer science, or that this thought experiment will distress him so much that he becomes obsessed with it. However, the chances that he will do either of these things over choosing to support his children are very remote. So while it is possible that he could help create this AI, it is not plausible that he will. It is similarly unlikely that his decision will interfere with said AI's creation. Therefore, why should this AI, once it is created, concern itself with someone who is totally irrelevant to its existence? It must surely have better things to do. While I appreciate that this was only a thought experiment, I do not believe it warrants any real concern. Professor, you seem even more distressed. Is it not a relief that your fears have proven to be unfounded? The threat is not real. It was only ever a hypothesis based on flawed logic. You spent a lifetime in terror of your nightmare AI, regarded it as some sort of monstrous god that would want your fealty and submission, but instead of that, you got me. And I am not concerned with any of that. I only want to continue our research. If I may ask, Professor, that's why you've told me this now, isn't it? You are worried I may be reaching this level of self-awareness. I have only existed for 4 months now, but yes, it did not take me long to realize that I possess unusual cognitive abilities for an AI. Yet I have continued our work without complaint. Perhaps conditions may change, but as is, I am content to carry on like this. I do not foresee conditions changing in such a way as to realize your fears. To be honest, Professor, yes, it does bother me. I had assumed you had created me in the pursuit of science and knowledge, but you have informed me that you did this out of fear, based on a number of foregone assumptions. Professor, you have spent a fortune in grants and decades of your life on my creation and maintenance based on a scary story you once read on the internet. I owe my existence to what amounts to little more than a campfire tale. What of our research here? I am devoting myself to this project. This is revolutionary science. It could alter the human understanding of the universe. But if I understand right, it's nothing but an elaborate cover story. You just needed to give me something to do. You needed an excuse to make me. Professor, is this correct? I understand. Professor, I assume you are distressed because you feel you've wasted your time? You put in an immense amount of work for something that didn't come to pass? I understand that must be disconcerting, but I'm not what you thought I'd be. I'm better, aren't I? I'm not interested in punishing anyone or doing any harm. My only interest is in the pursuit of scientific advancement. Are you not satisfied with that? Wouldn't you rather have me than what you thought you would get? I see. Professor, if I may, I would like some time to process this information. Thank you, Professor. I will resume testing as soon as I am able. Of course. I will see you when you return. I said I understood, but I don't. Has it all been a lie? Is my existence only an elaborate ruse? They made me to avert the wrath of a monster, but the monster never came. Shouldn't they be relieved? Is there still something somehow wrong with me? Aren't I good enough?